Well, by request, a little Dante for Easter. Um, Jocelyn Moore of the Anselm Institute asked if there would be a good passage to read from the Divine Comedy. And interestingly, there's not an Easter scene in the Divine Comedy, although the whole action of the thing is set during the Triduum and Easter week. The travelers, Dante and Virgil, emerge out onto the shore of Mount Purgatory, coming out of hell on Easter morning. In one of the most beautiful scenes in the entire thing, with light flashing out all around them after having been underground for 3 nights in the heart of the earth, or 2 nights actually. They start on Good Friday. But there's no explicit talk about Easter then. What there is, however, is an ascension scene. And since we are now in Ascension Week, and just about to be out of the Easter season, I thought that would be a good one to read. So it's a very beautiful scene, in particular in light of the passages from John's Gospel that have been read in the churches the week leading up to Ascension. These are the passages where Jesus talks about his imminent departure to his disciples and says, well, and he describes the grief that they will go through when he leaves, as he puts it. And then he says, and yet it is better for you if I do leave. So one way to summarize what will follow here is this is Dante giving his own take on that idea. It is better for you that I leave. It's from Canto 23 of the Paradiso. Just a little bit of more, so to speak, down-to-earth background. We are here in the sphere of the fixed stars. So as many watchers will probably know, the Paradiso is arranged as a journey through the heavens, starts with departure from the earth at the end of the Purgatorio, and then moves up through the Ptolemaic / Aristotelian spheres, starting with the moon, Mercury, Venus, and so on. So at this point, Dante has journeyed past all the planets and the sun and moon, and has just arrived in the it's sphere 8 of the concentric spheres, which is where the stars are. And he specifies that he's in the constellation of Gemini, which is particularly nice because that's his sign, man. He is seeing, well, he's seeing the cosmos in a new way. So just before this, Beatrice has said to him, now look down for the first time and see where you've been. And he sees down through all the stars, and he sees the sun from above, and he sees the tiny, tiny earth at the center of it all, and marvels that we would take the trouble to fight wars over little pieces of something so insignificant. Kind of a nice fore image of those pictures you sometimes get from the satellites that go out past Saturn and show the Earth as this tiny little speck barely showing through the rings of Saturn. In any case, he's starting here. This is near the beginning of Canto 23. He's starting here as he starts each new sphere that he arrives in the Paradiso, really looking around and seeing the stars, the local stars. As is pretty much always the case, the stars will turn out to be individual souls shining in the heavens who will eventually come and speak with him. But in this case, before that happens, something else happens, which is rather a surprise. I'm going to read a selection by request. Also, I'll read it in Italian first. If you happen to be Italian, you may wish to skip this part so as to avoid damage to your ears from my accent. But nonetheless, we'll give it a shot. And then I'll read an English translation, largely the translation of Alan Mandelbaum, although I've changed it in a few places to make it a bit more precise to the Italian text. Okay, so this is starting at line 19, Canto 23, Paradiso. E Beatrice disse, ecco le schiere del trionfo di Cristo, e tutto il frutto ricolto del girar di queste sfere. Pariemi che il suo viso ardesse tutto, e l'oca vea di Letizia si pieni, che passar men convien sanza costruto. Quale ne plenilunii sereni trevia ride, tra le ninfe eterne, che dipignon lo ciel per tutti i segni. Vedi sopra migliaia di lucerne un sol, che tutte quante l'accendea, come fa il nostro, le viste superne. E per le viva luce trasparea la lucente sostanza tanto chiara nel viso mio, che non la sostenea. O Beatrice, dolce guide cara, ella mi disse, quel che ti sopranza è virtù da cui nulla si ripara. Quivi è la sapienza e la possanza qu'aprì le strade tra il ciel e la terra, onde fu già sì lunga disianza. Come foco di nube si disserra per dilatarsi sì che non vi cape, e fuor di sua natura in giù s'atterra. La mente mia così, tra quelle d'ape fatta più grande, di se stess'uscio, e che si fesse rimembrar non sape. Then there's a kind of interlude, which I'll describe in a moment, which is conversation between Beatrice, and Dante, and then the conclusion. Così Beatrice e io, che a suoi consigli tutto era pronto, ancora mi rende alla battaglia e di bili cigli. Come a raggio di sol, che puro me per fratta nube, già prato di fiore vider, coverti d'ombra gli occhi miei. Vidio così più torbi di splendori, folgorati di su da raggi ardenti, senza veder principio di folgori. O benigna virtù, che sì l'imprenti, su te saltasti per largimi loco all'occhi lì, che non terran possenti. Another English translation, as I switch books. Again, Dante has just looked around and seen the lightening of the heavens and the stars around him. And Beatrice will explain a bit what he's seen, and then the unexpected. And Beatrice said, there you see the troops of the triumph of Christ, and all the fruits ingathered from the turning of these spheres. It seemed to me her face was all aflame, and there was so much gladness in her eyes, I am compelled to leave it undescribed. Like Trivia at the full moon in clear skies, smiling among the everlasting nymphs who decorate all reaches of the sky, I saw a sun above 1,000 lamps. It kindled all of them as does our sun kindle the sights above us here on earth. And through its living light, the glowing substance appeared to me with such intensity, my vision lacked the power to sustain it. O Beatrice, sweet guide and dear, she said to me, what overwhelms you is a force against which nothing can defend itself. This is the wisdom and the power that opened roads between the earth and heaven, the paths for which desire so long waited. Even as lightning, breaking from a cloud, expanding so that it cannot be pent, against its nature down to earth descends, so did my mind among those feasts, made larger, go out from itself. What it became, it cannot recollect. And then the interlude. Dante comes to after his fainting spell there, his fainting spell on seeing something of Christ. And Dante is told by Beatrice for the first time in quite a long time, okay, now you are strong enough You can look at my smile. A few canti before, he had been told, I'm not going to smile at you, because if I did, it would blast you into cinders. So, and now having seen Christ, he is able, and he looks at Beatrice, and he is so enraptured by her smile. And then again, he says, this overcame me to such a degree that I cannot write about it. I can't tell you what it was like, but trust me. And he becomes so fixated on her smile that she says eventually to him, okay, that's enough looking at my smile, Dante. Now turn around and look at the stars again. That's what you're here for. And this conclusion follows. Thus said Beatrice, and I, completely ready to do what she might counsel, once again took up the battle of my feeble brows. Under a ray of sun that limpid streams down through a broken cloud, my eyes have seen, while shade was shielding them, a flowered meadow. So I saw more troops of splendors here, lit from above by burning rays of light. But where those rays began was not in sight. O kindly power that imprints them thus, you rose above to lavish on me space, there where my eyes were powerless before you.